It's time for episode 2, so hold on to your hats. This week, see if our turkey calling is up to par as we chase Wisconsin Gobblers. You're watching APO Outdoors.
Pole is bent, pulling some line.
Awesome.
Hello and welcome to APO Outdoors. I'm Peter Michael, and today we journey past our premiere episode into the second round as we follow my father as he attempts to take his first gobbler on video. It's gobble time. It was spring 2007, and my father and I had big plans to hunt 4 out of the 7 weeks of the spring Wisconsin turkey season. I had drawn the first week in April, and through the subsequent blizzard, still managed to bag a nice tom. With snow still on the ground, it was my father's turn to get after them, and get after them we did, in an interesting way, a good old-fashioned turkey drive. Yep, I said turkey drive. A good friend Shane, whose land we were hunting, got on his boots and went after the 30-plus birds into the field. He got them headed into the brush where our ambush point was, but the majority of the group would pop back out into the field and head towards the adjacent wood line before we got a chance to get on them. But that pretty much ended our first week, as we didn't see anything the next day. The second attempt to get my dad a bird was very slow as the birds weren't moving a lot. We were close on the very first morning, but I screwed it all up trying to get my dad's attention when a couple of hens were headed our way. I found out later that there was a tom following them as they all headed back into the brush. And we tried a lot of different setups, but after that first morning, the birds were few and far between and were lacking beards. Our third hunt would prove to be a lot more interesting. Spring was heating up, the fields were growing, and many birds were making their way through the grass. The sun was shining and we were seeing birds right away. Unfortunately, they were a little out of range, but eventually they found themselves on our side of the field, headed towards our decoys.
While the birds seemed to be headed to our decoys, they ended up taking the long route as they made their way. My dad said it best, that even though they were all jakes, it was really beautiful watching them cut across the grass in the morning sun with their vibrant red heads. Last one coming in has the biggest beard. They eventually got within shot distance, milling around a bit as they tried to figure things out. It's times like this that you wish there was a 10-inch beard hanging from those guys, because they were right in range, but they just weren't what we were looking for at the time. Can I get a tri-turkey club sandwich, please? Sounds good right about now. About that time, a live hen popped out of the woods and started making her way through the field. That certainly got their attention, and they wasted no time getting to her zip code. It was then that these future gobblers attempted to strut their stuff, literally, but still needed to work on their game.
It was really fun to see these jakes practicing strutting and trying to get the attention of that hen. As if we hadn't had enough excitement that day already, a bunch of redheads would appear suddenly about 300 yards out in the field in front of us. However, the watchful eyes of our friend would lead to another attempt at driving the birds our way, this time with a little 4-wheel power. It appeared to work, but about 80 to 100 yards out, they started to veer off to the right and continued on towards the swamp.
Is it just me, or does a turkey running remind anyone else of velociraptors? I guess they do say birds were related to dinosaurs.
A fun but disappointing day filled with lots of birds, but unfortunately without any gobblers in range, nor would we see any the rest of our third hunt.
For our fourth and final hunt, we decided to go to my uncle's farm for a change of pace.
Up until that point, my father had held out for a nice time, but now it was time to put a bird down if the opportunity presented itself. After seeing a hen early in the morning and a few nice white-tailed bucks, that chance would come.
These two birds came from the fence line to our right, and they were headed directly across the field away from us, but a quick call from my father got them headed in our direction. Once they got up on the hill with us, I could tell they were just jakes, but we were down to the wire, and Red was dead. Even as the cameraman, there's great anticipation for your game to get within range, especially if you're following a family member. It gets a little frustrating and anxious when your birds seem to take their time or even hint that they might change direction. They ended up just coming closer to the grass line and then skirting in front of the stand, continuing on towards the decoys.
I'm so glad that I was able to be there to capture my dad's first and unfortunately only turkey hunt on video. As is usually the case, these memories mean a lot to me now.
That's it.
Nice job, Dad. I truly enjoy the challenge of turkey hunting, and so did my father. In fact, he loved it. I hope you enjoyed our hunt as much as I enjoyed putting it together. Now check back next week here on AM/PM Outdoors for episode 3 to see if we chase pronghorn out west or track down big black bears here in the deep north woods. For AM/PM Outdoors, I'm Peter Michael, and there's always time to be outdoors.
Is that the one with the long beard right there?